At the height of the COVID lockdowns, one man decided his stir-crazy family needed a change of scenery. They weren't mountain people. Not by a long shot, but with nothing else to do, a trip to Virginia's Blue Ridge Mountains sounded like harmless adventure. It did not stay harmless for long. While exploring the woods, they spotted something moving between the trees, large, fast, and unlike anything they expected to find on a quiet family outing.
Oh my God. Get in the house! Get in the house!
The man immediately ordered his family back into the cabin to stay safe, and then he sprinted toward the creature. That's when things got strange. You can tell the creature doesn't appreciate being chased. Its movements become frantic, almost panicked, weaving sharply through the undergrowth. Then out of nowhere, it begins unleashing a series of bizarre, guttural noises sounds that don't quite match any known animal. The man keeps recording as long as he can, but eventually the creature slips deeper into the forest, leaving only questions behind. So what did he capture out there in the Blue Ridge Wilderness? A stray animal? A misidentified human? Or something far stranger? Rodney went out for a solo nature trip, expecting calm wilderness shots. Everything seemed normal until he got home and reviewed his footage. In one wide shot, barely visible in the upper left corner behind some bushes, a dark figure seems to be peeking out. Rodney didn't notice it while filming. After he uploaded the clip, Bigfoot enthusiasts were quick to weigh in. Many argued it was a cautious Sasquatch observing from cover. Skeptics pointed to the grainy resolution and vague shape, insisting it was just a shadow. Whatever it was, Rodney accidentally captured something that has people talking. What do you think it is?
No? Where? Whoa, there it is.
It's a bear. That's not a bear. What is it? It's a freaking bear.
What?
A bear walking on legs that's brown around here. Bears are black here.
While hiking the rough trails of the Adirondacks, a group noticed something moving ahead of them. At first they figured it was another bear sighting, but the scene shifted fast. In the video, one of them points it out. Tall, brown, and walking upright. Definitely not a black bear, which is the only bear species in that region. You can hear the confusion in their voices. Before they can get closer, the figure slips into the woods. Later, when they reviewed the footage, the outline didn't match a bear's posture or the way a bear usually moves. Some people say it looks more like a gorilla, wide-shouldered and muscular, though gorillas don't live anywhere in North America's forests. Others think it might have been a person or a staged hoax, but locals claim this isn't the first time someone has reported something strange in those hills. So what did they really catch on camera in the Adirondacks? A misjudged bear, or something that isn't supposed to be there at all? A man in Georgia sent in his trail cam footage, and at first it looks like a bear staring into the camera. But the longer you study it, the less certain it becomes. At first glance, nothing stands out. Then you notice the eyelashes, surprisingly defined for a bear. Watch it again, and the eyes look almost human. Even the area that seems like a snout doesn't quite match. The ridges on the nose look unusual, almost textured in a way that doesn't feel right for a typical animal. The more you look, the harder it is to call this a bear with confidence. The man who submitted the footage isn't sure what he captured. He isn't a strong believer, but he has heard plenty of stories about Bigfoot and similar creatures in the mountainous part of Georgia where he lives. The clip is short, but it raises a lot of questions. What do you think he caught on camera? In a quiet studio, a girl sets up her phone and begins filming herself. The space is simple, just her. A large wall mirror and an empty room. She's done this routine countless times. Everything is normal, until it isn't. As she bends down and turns toward the mirror, something flickers in the background. Near the doorway, a dark figure appears in the reflection, barely visible at first. Her attention snaps to it. She freezes, then bolts the moment she faces it directly. The figure disappears. No sound, no trace. Just gone. Some viewers suggest it might have been a stalker slipping away, careful not to be seen. Others say the shape and movement are unnatural, more ghostly than human. It clearly didn't want to be caught. Mirror videos like this are unnerving.
So, this is a turning board, and I'm going to...
Have you ever seen something in a reflection that wasn't there? And if so, how did you react? I know how I would react, and it wouldn't be calmly. In my last video, we looked at this clip, but now here's the full story behind it. The sighting happened in Bartlett, New Hampshire, about 60 miles west of Mount Washington near the Vermont border. A few days ago, a woman was out walking her Mastiff mix, a big dog that's fearless by nature. Except this time, something stopped him cold. He froze and refused to move. She couldn't figure out why at first, but then she caught a strong, rotten smell in the air. A moment later, she noticed movement in the trees. She pulled out her phone, hit record, and managed to capture a 9-second clip of something large and dark moving just beyond the brush. Her friend Justin sent the video to the Rocky Mountain Sasquatch organization because she didn't want the attention that comes with encounters like this. While talking with investigators, he also mentioned there might be a second clip from the same moment. The team enlarged the footage by 200 and 300%. It's a short video, but when you pair it with the dog's reaction and the heavy stench, the whole situation feels a lot more unsettling. Experts say the footage alone can't confirm what it is, but people who live near Bartlett know the area has had its share of Bigfoot reports. Now that you've heard the full story, does it change how you see the clip? What do you think is moving through those New Hampshire woods? Here's another fire-themed moment, though this one is pure illusion. Every February, for just a few evenings, something surreal happens in Yosemite National Park. As the sun drops toward the horizon, its light lines up perfectly with Horsetail Fall. For a few minutes, the water glows bright orange and looks like lava pouring down the cliff. People call it the Yosemite Firefall. When the conditions are right, it lights up the rock like a molten ribbon. Visitors say it feels eerie, almost unreal, like watching the landscape come alive. Some even describe it as the earth bleeding light. The effect isn't man-made, it's just sunlight, timing, and the waterfall's angle. But that hasn't stopped stories from forming around it. Some see it as a sign. Others think it reveals something we aren't supposed to understand. Whatever the meaning, the moment is unforgettable. This next image was captured on a nanny cam at 2 in the morning, and it's unsettling. It's just a still frame, but there's something about it that makes people pause. Whatever is lurking in that shot doesn't look like it should be there.
What the fuck was that?
Fish.
Go get your hat.
Normally, clips like this are pretty funny barramundi jumping in the river, people laughing as they get splashed or bumped. But in this one, the guy gets absolutely smashed by a leaping fish. He's clearly not in the mood, and you can see he's even bleeding a little. Still, credit where it's due, he takes the hit like a champ. This one is downright eerie. Drone footage from Cannock Chase District in England captured something strange, a lone young girl wandering deep in the woods, wearing what looks like a hospital gown or nightgown. From above, the sight is unsettling. She's completely out of place, standing motionless among the trees. No adults, no paths, no explanation. The clip spread fast, drawing paranormal investigators from all over the region. Many compared her to Samara Morgan from The Ring, that pale, long-haired, ghostly figure that has haunted nightmares for decades. I'd love to know the follow-up on this. Who was she? What was she doing out there? And why did she look like she walked straight out of a horror movie? If any of you have heard updates or know more, I'm dying to know. I came across this clip and thought, that's terrifying. Imagine a bear charging toward your tent in the middle of the night. I checked the comments and everyone kept saying the same thing. Never keep food in your tent, never store a cooler nearby, and don't even bring scented hygiene products because bears will go straight for them. But as I scrolled, the tone shifted. People were calling it the best AI bear they'd ever seen and insisting the whole thing was fake. And now I'm sitting there wondering, is it actually fake? Because it didn't look fake to me. And honestly, if that's what AI can do now, then we're in trouble. It feels like we're in some strange battle over what's real anymore. I don't know. Tell me what you think. A guy set up a trail camera to keep watch over some old cabins after dealing with vandalism. Most of the footage he gets is normal stuff. Deer, raccoons, the usual nighttime visitors. But the clip from last night rattled him enough that he sent it in. He made it clear he's not calling it Bigfoot or anything dramatic. He's lived in these woods his whole life, so he knows what wildlife looks like. But the way this thing is standing, the shape of it, the size, it doesn't sit right with him. He said the only explanation he can come up with is that someone found the camera and decided to mess with him. He enhanced the image as much as he could, but the quality is still rough and pixelated. Even so, the outline is strange. Not quite animal, not quite human. So what exactly did Jake capture? Anybody recognize what this figure could be? This next clip cracks me up every time. Here's the setup. A mom decided to surprise her 6-year-old daughter with a Bigfoot appearance for her birthday.
Did you guys hear that? Am I making that up?
Whoa, whoa!
She called a place that offers those kinds of visits and figured it would be adorable. Cute costume, balloons, party hat, perfect idea. It was not a perfect idea. The second Bigfoot walked in, the whole room fell apart. Total chaos. Kids screaming, kids running, kids crying in every direction. The mom later said she thought it would be a friendly, girl Bigfoot kind of vibe. Instead, it turned into absolute meltdown territory. It's hard not to laugh, though. The clip is pure comedy from start to finish. Back in 2012, a trapper in rural Alberta set up a motion-triggered trail cam to track local wildlife. It ended up capturing something he wasn't expecting. The image shows a huge figure sitting on the forest floor. It has broad shoulders, a cone-shaped head, long arms, and thick reddish-brown hair. It doesn't look startled. It looks settled, almost like it's aware of being watched. People have tried to explain it. Some say it's a bear, others think it's someone in a ghillie suit. The proportions don't fit either idea. A bear doesn't look like that, and if this thing were standing upright, it would easily clear 7 feet. Because of those details, a few cryptozoologists have called it one of the clearest non-aggressive Sasquatch photos they've seen. Whether it's a moment of a creature resting or a trick of angles and shadows, it's hard to pin down. I've looked at it closely, and I still don't know what to make of it.
Oh. See, there it is. Hey. Oh, what the f***? You'll see that.
Glowing eyes stare straight at him from the dark, and honestly, it's hard not to tense up. Sure, plenty of animals reflect light at night. Deer, raccoons, even big cats do it all the time in wooded areas. That part isn't strange. What is strange is whatever's watching him here. The height and spacing of those eyes look bigger than what you'd expect from the usual wildlife, and the way they stay locked in place without a hint of movement feels off. Most animals would bolt or at least shift around once they notice a person. Was it trying to stay hidden? Was it just a normal nocturnal animal, or was something else standing out there in the trees? Either way, the moment is downright eerie. In the quiet of winter back in 2018, a hiker in Oklahoma came across a single footprint that made no sense. He was walking along a snowy trail when he spotted it. One deep, clear print with 3 long claws and no known match in the animal world. The toes were long and sharp, and the heel section was wide and shaped in a way that didn't resemble any common creature. He placed his boot next to it for scale, and the size difference was shocking. Whatever made it was huge. When he posted the photo online, people had a lot of theories. Some insisted it had to be a bear. Others suggested a massive wildcat, but one idea started gaining traction. Dogman. A cryptid often described as a tall, bipedal creature with canine features. And honestly, the claws and the strange heel shape line up with that description more than anything else. The hiker left the area fast because whatever made that print wasn't something he wanted to meet. Our next story comes from Scott Carpenter, a systems administrator from Maryville, Tennessee, who moonlights as a dedicated amateur Sasquatch researcher. On the day this happened, he was leaving a feeding station, a spot where researchers leave food in hopes of collecting DNA or catching a cryptid on a trail cam. Scott always carried a back trail camera filming behind him, and it wasn't until he got home that he noticed it, a dark figure moving deep in the background. At first, he assumed he'd finally captured a Sasquatch, but on closer inspection, he realized he was looking at something completely different, something he had never encountered before. A dogman. No matter how loudly critics called it a shadow or misidentification, Scott was convinced. He swore he could see its nostrils flare with each breath, and when the realization hit that he had been only yards away from a creature straight out of legend, the mix of terror and fascination shook him to his core. Even as a lifelong cryptid enthusiast, the encounter rattled him. He worried the creature knew he had filmed it. He worried it might come looking. It took weeks for him to fully recover from the shock. Many people don't believe Scott. Scott doesn't budge an inch. In fact, the encounter changed him. He now carries a firearm at all times, especially in the woods. The sighting opened his eyes to the real risks that come with searching for the unknown. Sometimes when you go looking for monsters, something looks back, but it also fueled his curiosity. Instead of scaring him off, it drove him deeper into the mystery of the dogman. Have any of you ever had a dogman encounter? On a solo hike through the dense Appalachian woods, a hiker recorded something strange. Somewhere off camera, a faint voice called out. It sounded human, desperate even, but there was something off the rhythm, the cadence, almost as if it were trying to mimic a human but failing. The hiker didn't investigate. He didn't respond. He simply kept filming and ended the recording without explanation. The clip immediately sparked debate. Was it someone truly in danger, or something trying to lure him off the trail? The Appalachians are known for disappearances and cryptid lore. Whatever it was, it left the question open. Do you follow the voice or get out of there as fast as you can? For these two guys, what was supposed to be a routine fishing trip turned into a nightmare. They were about 25 miles offshore in the Atlantic when trouble hit. Water started flooding the boat, and within minutes both engines were struggling, threatening to drag the vessel under. That alone is terrifying, but the water was 56 degrees, and hypothermia was a real danger. Miraculously, they managed to call for help, and help arrived just in time. Anyone who's fished offshore knows that's not always guaranteed. This could have ended very differently. According to the Rocky Mountain Sasquatch Organization, the very first step when they receive a supposedly new and unique Bigfoot photo or video is simple. Put it out there. Post an article, release a video, and wait, because it never takes long. Within hours, the armchair Bigfoot researchers, people who've spent years obsessing over sightings, archives, hoaxes, and patterns, start reaching out. They'll tell RMS where the footage originated, whether it's part of an old hoax, why it looks fake, why it might be real, or sometimes they'll even provide genuinely valuable context, crowdsourcing the truth, one cryptid at a time. Deep in the forest, a hiker found something that shouldn't have existed out there. A shelter made entirely of branches, perfectly shaped and carefully built. It wasn't a messy pile or a quick lean-to. It was arched and woven together like someone spent real time on it. There were no tools, no rope, no cut marks. Just branches twisted together as if something strong and deliberate had shaped them by hand. The hiker said the whole structure gave off an odd feeling, and the design matches descriptions of alleged Bigfoot nests that people have reported from Washington to Alabama. So what is this? A skilled bushcrafter working off the grid, or a sign that something out there is building homes in places where no one should be? This unsettling photo was shared on Reddit by the girl's brother. It started as a casual hike, just a quick picture of his sister posing with their family dog, but in the background, two glowing eyes peek out from the darkness. The girl had no idea she was being watched. The dog, however, sensed something was wrong, head low, body tense. Dogs often pick up on danger before humans do. Mountain lions can stalk like this, low and hidden, but the spacing of these eyes is off. Too wide for a cat. What do you think? Is it a wild animal or something far more unsettling hiding in the woods? A Reddit user from Issaquah, Washington shared a story that stuck with him. It happened at the edge of town where suburban homes blend into the Cascade foothills. He ran into a neighbor one evening who seemed unsure whether to talk about what he'd seen. After hesitating, he finally said, "I know this sounds crazy, but here's what happened." He'd been in his yard at dusk, looking toward the trees about 50 feet away, when something massive came into view. He described a Sasquatch around 9 or 10 feet tall, with reddish-brown hair, broad shoulders, and long, muscular arms. Gray hair framed its face. He said everything suddenly snapped into focus, and he realized exactly what he was looking at. The creature noticed him, turned smoothly, and ran off into the woods. The part that rattled him most was the silence. Something that big should have made noise, but it didn't. He kept repeating that he knew it sounded unbelievable, but he was certain about what he saw. The Redditor said the neighbor isn't the dramatic type. He's calm, realistic, and not known for telling stories. And the witness wasn't the only one in the area with similar experiences. There have been several first and second-hand reports over the past couple of years. With hundreds of miles of mountains, foothills, forests, and logging land around that town, it's the kind of place where almost anything could stay hidden. The Pacific Northwest has always been a hotspot for sightings, and this one adds to the pile. That's the whole account. What do you think about a Bigfoot sighting, shared neighbor to neighbor? This trail cam is placed in the perfect spot, right where a fallen tree forms a natural bridge across the swamp. A bobcat strolls across it, calm and confident, moving with that classic feline grace. But the calm doesn't last long. Near the end of the clip, something shifts. A pair of glowing eyes catches the light and alligator lurking just beneath the bridge. The bobcat doesn't see it until the last second, and when it does, the jolt of surprise is unmistakable. Let's run it again. See those eyes? That shine gives away the gator's position. Fortunately, the bobcat's balance and lightning-fast reflexes save the day. He slips off the log and melts into the darkness. Shaken but safe. Another close call in the wild.